Okay. Let's talk about this game. No Corky. No Corky's allowed. Now, you might be wondering why Maokai. Not only has Canyon been playing a lot of Maokai, but what this crucially does when he plays Maokai is it allows Chovy to play AD champs. And this could be Trist. He likes to play Yone into his ear. He also has played Jace now. And this is just annoying. It's annoying to let Chovy play these champions. And Canyon could play like Lilia or Brand as well and still get that AP. But Maokai is just so good at vision control and engaging in the late game that it's way more annoying to play into Maokai. And Chovy just has a bunch of specialist AD champs.
Because the Ashe up and available, the Varus up and available, there is only that Kalista band, and often we see up.
All right. So Varus up.
A lot of Canyon, that would be kind of
Zyracon, but it could be Ashe Varus. That would be very oppressive. No, okay, Canyon going back to Sejuani. He's been liking a bunch of these, or he's been liking or been forced to play a bunch of these tank champs. Yeah, I think Varus Ashe makes a lot of sense here. Huge priority in bot lane.
The bot lane is just going to be unplayable.
Huge conditional engage. Huge conditional engage. Ashe Arrow, Sejuani ult, Chains of Corruption. All three of these R's you can just go fishing with. And conditional engage is so important at the professional level of League of Legends because it allows you to see if an engage will work before you commit to it. And you have Prio, so you got to be worried about the brand, I think, right now. Blind? Interesting. Blind Silas?
I don't think that's going to happen. Taking away the Yone here very so far this season, which is wild.
Yone Azir,
alongside the Lee Sin here.
Rumble.
It was a common response. I like this a lot more because it's sturdier. Follow up for these
Rel.
and
I'm really surprised about the blind Silas, but I guess you see Sejuani and Ashe ult and you're feeling pretty good.
The ultimates you mentioned are so great for engage all three of them. The Rel follow up,
or is he just?
Or he could be playing the Cassante himself.
And oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Don't Lehens. And the Akali's going to be locked in. Okay. Chovy is pretty good at the Akali, but we haven't seen it. So I don't. King and okay.
It's
Olaf into Cassante. Interesting. This is, I think the Olaf is less about the Cassante matchup, and it's more about Ashe Sejuani Varus ults and being able to access the kind of low mobility backline of Ashe Varus. Because when he's ulting, you're not going to be able to stop him from getting there. And you also can't ult him with Cassante over a wall or something.
So I like this.
So Olaf seems really strong into their comp. It's a good R5.
Generally likes meta picks, some more classic picks, and just kind of
intriguing.
Occurred.
Some shenanigans are afoot.
Top lane summoner spells have ensued. Ignite and the teleporters. Now Chovy having to ghost. Oh, narrowly avoids.
And it's actually Keen in the top side with the Akali. Oh, interesting. Chovy is a known Cassante mid player. He did this a lot last year, and it got to the point where they had to ban it. He loves playing Cassante in the mid lane.
Close call. Losing Ghost isn't going to be the end of the world, but
and Keen is, has just a massive champion pool.
And it's so interesting to see this Akali into the Olaf. I mean, talk about rare matchups. So we might get a graphic that's like, this is LCK first top Akali versus Olaf. It's
definitely the first top Akali versus Olaf matchup.
3,400 days since we've seen this.
Yeah.
It's definitely the first time this has been a matchup in topside.
Has a lot of synergy with the Sejuani and some of the.
Do I plan on doing live casts of games in the future? No, because I don't have co-streaming rights.
Showmaker is lurking.
Riot would just shut down my stream.
From home at this point in time, as they know that this could potentially happen. So I
love GenG's player lineup. It's been really fun to watch them. Look at this shenanigans, though. So double Hail of Blades, T1 special. Lehens gets hit by the knockup, and guess who's here? Guess who's on his bullshit? It's Showmaker. Gives him a Teemo.
take the first blood. That's 400 gold to the Silas. And because he has the ability to just rotate back, he'll take the first.
Showmaker coming down at this point in time, as they know that this could potentially happen. So Showmaker coming down towards the bottom.
And they're so scared of this Silas, they just try and run. They actually can't stand and try and use Hail of Blades.
400 gold to the Silas. And because he has the ability to just rotate back to lane here, he'll lose very little for it into a level 1 Cassante. This is super smart here for Dplus. They know the game plan for Varus Ashe.
Dude, the level 1 is so crazy.
Walk up and start firing arrows. Showmaker says, I'm going to come down here, make a play with Kellen. Kellen doesn't even have to commit the flash. Because
yeah, he does. Showmaker doesn't have to flash. Kellen doesn't have to flash.
Who ends up falling. This is fortunate for Paze, who will be able to still catch this CS, but a huge play here from Dplus, well executed.
And almost had to happen as well, as Kingen is
holy smokes.
Perhaps he should have held on to the Cassante.
All right, so lots of early aggression from Dplus. Just ghosting straight in after level 2.
Didn't really see anything in the
takes Q and E on Olaf. This game was fun.
Aiming to
yeah, I got my shotgun. This is a
Papa Smithy, how fucked up is your sleep schedule that you're watching LCK games live? Oh, I guess they're earlier on weekends. That's true. They're early on weekends, so it's less fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it goes. We're going to check this one out. And yes, Aiming got to see the minion wave at level 1. He may not get to see the minion wave again. Unless there is
the LCK games are on later than this, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and
just how the matchup goes.
And this is what I was saying. You know, we're going to release.
But I guess they start earlier on
first year as Lehens is going to hit level 2
on the
right
weekends.
Here. And it does allow them to, for example, kill this wave actually with impunity. And this kind of small advantage actually ends up being massive because it just gives you so much freedom.
That's fair enough. That's a normal time. 1 a.m. Going to bed.
One missed engage. You play too close to the sun. Oh, hold that thought.
Yeah. Speaking of missed engages and too close to the sun and stuff like that, that's a permafrost. That's a backlit, and that is Keen getting first, second blood.
And this is exactly what I mentioned earlier.
Not even having to use the ignite.
As Lehens is going to hit level 2 right here.
I mean, he doesn't expect this either because there is they did try and provide protection, right? By getting the ward into Raptors. So Olaf actually sets up this play really nicely. So Kingen is planning to be aggressive right off the bat, which is why he places the ward in Raptors right at the start of the game. Except he gets kind of trolled because it's a 3 camp bot side directly into top side gank from Sejuani, who just runs all the way from bot side jungle, bypasses the ward, and then there's no ward in river. I mean, clearly, like if you're thinking, hey, he should have expected this. In fact, he checks right here just in river. And it's just good communication between Canyon and Keen that this is going on. Kingen is actually quite careful about trying to avoid this gank because he knows it could be coming with his ghost down. Still gets nailed though.
That's a permafrost. That's a backlit, and that is Keen getting first, second blood.
And this is exactly what I mentioned.
Nice attempt to avoid it by King, and he did all he could.
A little rough for Keen, but he's able to survive through. And then boom, Sejuani shows up, and early levels here, the Olaf, you just don't have any way of getting out of this as Showmaker's first-person view.
Nah, and you expect them to be aggressive right before the minion wave crash. So GenG just kind of play into those expectations. And the Silas is just hovering there to see if they actually are going to go aggro. So
like he is so dedicated to the mental game. You know, it's fantastic.
He just knows that they are doomed.
Oh yeah, and he was already walking back to lane, right? Because he was expecting that they were going to respect that that potential. Not actually the case, as Chovy doesn't do very much losing on Cassante. He was playing a lot of the mid Cassante that we did see not do very much losing in general.
Yeah, he played it in the finals against Faker's Talia and just walked up and obliterated him. Was I think the last game he played of it back in summer. And yeah, he's very good at this pick. He's very comfortable on it, and Showmaker picking up first blood isn't really going to put a damper on his day. As you can see, he already has a significant CS advantage here in mid. As once again, action here on top side, but this time it's Lucid.
Yeah, I'll see where the Lucid
oh, Jerky's me. We'll watch the Carmine Corp game tomorrow.
Picks up the axe, doesn't get the second one.
We'll feed the raccoon some trash tomorrow. We got to get through these LCK games so that I can do the Monty and Wolf show tomorrow morning, my time.
Down here from Lucid Keen Into the shroud, backflips as well. And this is why you don't need to take flash on Akali. She has lots of ways of saying no thanks.
Gang for a gank because he needs to go up and hit those minions or he's going to lose them as they crash into the turret as the wave is pushing away from him. Plays it.
Am I going to watch the T1 match later? Yes.
Quickly.
I'll watch that one live. And if it's good, I'll probably watch it again tomorrow.
And he's going to now crash this wave in. No threat here. Canyon's down here taking the grubs. Really nice.
What if there's a banger LCS game tomorrow? Then we'll watch that one tomorrow. We got time tomorrow to watch games, catch up on Europe and LCS.
And you have the enemy jungler doing grubs, you're getting dragon, but because of that topside play, they're aware that they can grab these grubs and then maybe even potentially contest the Drake itself.
I have not seen this series.
Not really winning on either side of the map here.
Usually I haven't seen the series. The one exception typically is like I have to watch the LCK series on Sunday night that happened then because I have a show that I need to have seen them for. So sometimes I've seen those ones. And I VOD review them the day after they happen, if they're good.
As once you're sort of on the back foot, Lehens keeps you there for a very long time as this Ashe.
Yeah, one mistake, and the Ashe just locks you down forever, and you're going to have to commit a summoner or a cleanse, a cleanse is a summoner, but I meant to say flash or a cleanse. And you can see that as soon as that wave is pushing, they are backing away. They do not want to get hit by a Lehens W and follow-up auto attacks. Be certain doom. As now we're going to have that group for the Drake.
There's the flash out from Lehens. Actually going to be respecting here as Canyon's moving up, finds Lucid. Showmaker and Chovy also making their way down. Looking like a 4v4 here as the chains don't land, but there's a Glacial Prison collected by Showmaker, and Canyon doesn't even has his yet.
Pretty broken to have the Sejuani ult before Sejuani.
They know Lehens is flashless as well. You can see Showmaker threatening that Ashe, just walking towards him with the stolen Sejuani ultimate, knowing that pressure alone should be enough to push him away and get that Drake prio.
Can you cast LoL games in delay legally? I don't know what that means. Like, these are delayed by 12 hours or whatever.
Nice engage from Kellen there, just saying, all right, we have enough control here, and that's going to be Dragon. Chovy coming over, though.
Yeah, Kellen has moved into the area. You can see that Lehens taking the long way round, and I think GenG understand they're a little bit late to this one. However, they have a ward. They can actually move on over, and Canyon has the Arctic Assault still. Not going to be able to contest the Rel this time around. A smart move, considering her ability to be able to lock down these objectives.
I love
Infernal going over to Dplus.
I love how GenG played that out because they take an opportunistic play where they're like, okay, if they make a mistake or if we actually are able to steal this away with a Varus arrow, that's just a free win for us, but we're not going to heavily commit. We're not going to actually flip this game on this Dragon right now. We already got grub control, and that is enough for us. We have an Olaf who's falling behind in top side, and we'll see what we can get. If we can't get anything, just walk away. I think some of our east side teams can learn a lot from this type of play.
Yeah, being able to know when to concede. Yeah, when to hold them, when to fold them, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's a famous American song that
Kellen might be
that
folding at the moment.
Potentially.
Atlas's references are like out of control in the last couple of games.
Might actually be waiting for Amy
The gambler
reference,
reference, the Mulan reference, so funny.
The first plate does go down very close to the second, and the Sejuani remains in the brush.
How much removed from live can you be? Look, I'm not going to do that because I don't have time to stream when any of the games are live. Like LEC and LCS are in the middle of the night for me, and LCK and LPL are in the evenings when like my kid's not at school and I want to spend time with my family. So there's no point in watching the games live. Also, watching the games live is a fucking waste of time because of all the pauses. With the number of games that I watch, you lose so much time watching live. Because you can't skip all of the downtime, you can't skip the pauses. It would literally be like 10 hours a week I would lose. So, not worth it.
Additional picks down there, and Dplus stave that pressure off, get a topside win. This game, it hasn't been quite as action-packed as I expected in terms of kills, but it has been very aggressively played on both sides of the rift here, and it's a very close one. 200 gold separating these two teams at the moment.
Yeah. Showmaker and Chovy with a little bit of biffo here is aiming, taking a bit of damage. Lehens with the frost shot, chasing him down. Halo Blades, certainly a lot of value at this stage of the game, as Featherstorm has to be used in response.
I think he thought that was a Varus ult.
So a little bit more of a reason to use it. Storm has to be.
He thought it was a Varus ult coming over the wall. I'm pretty sure.
Chasing him down. Halo Blades. Certainly a lot of value at this stage of the game, as Featherstorm has to be used in response to a piercing arrow.
Yeah.
And it was
I don't know.
powered, okay? So a little bit more of a reason to use it.
I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see an even bigger commitment there, but just not having the real information about where Kellen was. They decide not to, knowing he has flash and ult available. Speaking of Kellen, almost gets the back to there.
He has been finding people as they're leaving a couple of times so far this game. This is going to mean that Paze makes it home. Fourth grub to go over to GenG here. So they should be able to have some Void Mites to help them out.
That is
Steve and Bob, the whole family.
Significant amount of mites. And grubs to burn through turrets as
feels pretty good to have too with GenG's composition, because they actually will have split push pressure with this composition.
That's gonna go wide.
And good siege too.
Storm comes out, Paze cleanse, flashes, tries to get himself out of this, but it's just not going to work. It is not going to be enough. And Lucid was tanking the turret for as long as possible, and
Chovy's here.
Now he's ghosted, he's so incredibly fast. I think Lucid might be falling down here. Can the rest of Dplus make it out? Because Canyon's moving over and aiming.
Oh, nice edge ult.
If ever I've seen one, and he's clapped by Chovy here. A couple of kills for the mid laner of GenG, and they respond nicely to the dive.
That ward is so valuable here for GenG. Without it, this play isn't possible from Chovy. But what I was going to say before it went off is just GenG is not going to allow Azaya to get 2 plates for free. That is just not something they want to ever have happen in this Varus matchup into the Xayah Rakan with an Ashe. And they knew the dive was potentially coming, but Chovy's able to get behind enemy lines and set up for that one. And yes, the plate goal does go over, and aiming has picked up.
See you tomorrow, Zion Sick. We'll be back. Do some Monty Wolf show, and then we'll do some streaming.
There's a flash chains of corruption. Bye-bye.
Nice job.
Aiming has picked up a ton of money that you shouldn't really be able to get at this stage in the game.
Steals it. Flashes in for Chain of Corruption. Showmaker's had some pop-off games recently. It's nice to see some good Showmaker games again. I really missed this last year.
And Paze just, he didn't have any summoner spells. He was just dead.
And, I mean, Kingen picked up that kill earlier. He's not just going to be dead weight this game, necessarily. But the Varus, at this stage might be the next on the list in terms of champions that might not be relevant this game with 2 deaths.
Very fast Rod, too. He's already got 2 stacks on Rod at 12 minutes.
If you're falling behind at this stage in the game, the Xayah going to be so flexible in some upcoming teams.
Silas going to be huge.
Those objectives, when you have a Rakan, you have such great follow-up engage. When Showmaker steals one of those critical ultimates, it can be so problematic. To where that Chovy comes in and it's too late, the play is over. So much turret damage is taken, and Chovy's like, all right, thank you very much for the donation. Also note, Lucid blocking Showmaker's, or rather, excuse me, Canyon blocking Showmaker's rotation here as well, so he can't really come and help out. Great ultimate there to lock them down. And then this is just, you can't be Varus if you don't know where I am. I'm going to steal your ultimate and obliterate you. Easy near 400 picked up there for Showmaker.
And he could have just gone for the ult, seeing some peak, but no, he's flashing. He's making sure that is going to hit, and he is getting that kill. And Kellen,
so Keen already here, King and not.
Happy with how his mid laner is playing. This is 3 games in a row that we're seeing some peak Showmaker as Drake is
Keen already in the back line.
Somehow that's going to be an all out here by Chovy as he dives into the back line. Keen also massive at aiming. He's flashed the wall. Keen is in
Keen actually dies.
Picking up a kill, and now Chovy has 4 people to deal with.
5 actually.
How his mid laner is playing. This is
wow, that was far more effective of a TP than I thought it would be, especially after the Sejuani ult comes in.
Showmaker as Drake is going to be playing. This is 3 games in a row that we're seeing some peak Showmaker.
Showmaker stole Ash Arrow and then shot it at Sejuani.
Drake is going to be
so there's no peel here. Keegan just gets a ton of damage down and then is able to zone out 3 members. And they can't kill any of the carries fast enough. Aiming's able to flash over the wall. They went too deep while Varus and Ashe were not able to do anything. They have to play this differently, guys. Like, the Olaf pick as R5 was actually extremely effective. And you can't really you can't really go as aggressive with both Chovy and Keen. Like, I would have liked to have seen Chovy actually just help, you know, provide a front line here, while Keen kind of plays in Shroud and then tries to defend the flank, because this is not great, guys. The arrow is super late because they were zoned out. So you actually have to help Pays and Lehens there.
Unfortunately, Pays just not able to match the damage output of the Zaya. You know, we talked about this just moments before.
And Pays wasn't in that fight.
I mean, Chovy, he's tanky. He's getting to the back line, but he's just not able to do it alone. And they
the Olaf R5 was very smart here.
Just a little bit too split there.
As was the Silas once they had seen that Varus Ashe and Sejuani was picked. I really like this draft from Dplus.
And you have a front line that's chasing through, as you can see here with Chovy and Keen. The Soul Laners are getting onto the back line. Great ult here from aiming. And look at where Pays and Lehens are. They just can't close that gap, unfortunately.
It's well played by Kingen, too. He's able to zone them out and then double back to help in this engagement.
The rest of GenG just has to retreat, and Dplus massively ahead in this game now.
And that was all because a stolen arrow hit Canyon and he lost his entire health bar. And so he couldn't be there with the Bash Bros as they enter that backline and try to cause all that disruption. And that's why
I don't know about that one. I don't think they want to go that deep. I don't think that's an ideal way to play the composition. Like, adding Canyon to the back, to like charging forward in the back line is not it. I think you just have to play around Olaf ult and wait it out. Because if Olaf doesn't have ult, they just lose. You have to kite and get out of there until Olaf ult is gone. And you prevent the rest of them from walking forward by threatening a Kali flank.
Going to be secured here by GenG as well.
My issues...
Chemtech Soul, I have an issue with that, personally.
Yeah, and I have issues output later on. You know, starting the Ghost Blade here, then going into tier. This makes you feel like by the time he actually can,
and under casting contracts,
he's going to be dealing with an
no.
Olaf that's super tanky.
No, I haven't been in a casting deal. Only a casting deal for a long time.
Like we saw in mid, just because his backline access gets so much easier to play out here when we're seeing this Akali that's not super far ahead. And I mean, it feels like in a lot of ways a 5v4 game. If we can't see Pays get some sort of value here, we'll be able to get this turret.
Yep, that's a fair bit of value. Good driving from Canyon, although not going to be able to early game in that lane. Not a advantage, but I think this game could be.
Showmaker is going to get pushed away from this turret. That is the soul that we're dealing with here, because they can kind of avoid these fights where we could see Keen start to get a few kills.
Yeah, the 6 Void Grubs coming through.
Commitment here.
Yeah,
Keen should be able to get out of this, right? Oh no, Kellen's here too, never mind.
He does still have Shroud. Let's see whether he can use it. Really nice movement. Look at
nice.
That. Keen just bobs and weaves.
Yeah, that's the turret going down top side. A lot of farm going to be lost. And teleport committed here.
Oh, and an arrow committed.
It's actually a really good arrow to stop Kingan's back, because now they probably get tier 2.
Canyon as much time to get an inner turret, and at this stage of the game,
force the TP.
That is very valuable, and yeah.
Ooh, yeah, they forced the TP. That's nice.
Yeah, 2 TPs, half an inner turret. That's the power of those grubs. 6 of them stacked here for GenG, really going to work.
LCK doesn't show Kevin's. Yes, they do. They're right here.
The game plan here for Dplus is just to keep this Akali down. They've got the Varus down. Now they're trying to keep that Akali down. I love the build here from Keen as well in this game, where you're dealing with a composition where the Zaya could.
How much consulting do you do nowadays? I do a bit.
Extra survivability plus the Void Staff.
I'm doing some consulting for Play Versus right now.
And trying to break through that front line of the Olaf, especially.
Usually I kind of have like one consulting deal that I'm doing at any given time.
Yeah, does want to get to a Storm Surge at some point, because that item's kind of ridiculous on the Akali, but probably will be picking that one up relatively soon as Lucid comes in from nowhere, as of course we have Mega Cones on the Rift. I do have to make sure that I remember that, so I'm not jump scared by a pony landing in the middle of my screen. But that is precisely what happened.
I find grubs to be very overrated. I think we've seen some really teams use grubs really well, particularly T1. I mean, we've seen some really nice use of the grubs advantages in this game as well. So I think good teams will be able to play effectively with it.
King on this side.
Yeah, King gonna get dove on. He got away the first time. He may not be able to this time as the backflip does get him out of there. But now the flash on forward. It is going to be the return kill, but they'll take the kill on the Akali.
Okay, kite it.
Kingen is not done.
Doesn't matter.
Nowhere to
Doesn't
go.
matter.
Olaf, of course, just does not care about Ashe in any way. And he will continue chasing. Now Chovy having to run away from this Olaf. Avoiding the undertows is important.
He still got Ghost, though.
Pace, what's he going to be able to do here as Canyon's trying to stand in his way, trying to be that front line. As I think if you're by yourself, Kingen, you may not necessarily win this fight, but Showmaker's going to turn up. Lucid's going to be there. All Out does come in, and Aiming's going to help out as well. So Chovy, once again, going to be taken down.
Yeah, this might be the backbreaker here for GenG. They had Cryo, but they had really no firm control on the entry points there for Dplus, and it's Keen who's collapsed on first in this fight, clearing a ward with no vision of who's on the other side of this tri-brush. And yes, he survives here, but that's half your damage output gone. Pays is super behind in this game. Chovy's playing a tank here in mid, and yeah, this is a trade you will take any day of the week when you have a Xayah that's ahead and an insane Olaf.
It's also they don't have to use the Olaf ult until Keen is already dead. So there's no way for GenG to clean up this fight, right? Because they don't have Akali damage. There's no more Akali threat. Olaf can just run at them.
I ain't got any items. I'm at 171 tier stat.
Sometimes you just build too much. No, I love going to look to try and take his blue buff, and he's still massively couple of ultis, and they are going to be able to keep him at bay.
Yeah, we'll trade that for Canyon's ultimate, which is here.
Yep. I just don't think that there's much of an answer here for GenG at this point in time. The Silas is just so incredibly strong. And what a performance. This week for Showmaker has just been such an incredible return to form. It's amazing.
Yeah, Showmaker looked really good. Had a fucking pentakill casted in game.
Now though, I may have cast a cursed him because his top laner has just been taken down. Teleport from Keen as well. They don't have many places to go. Let's see whether Showmaker can do anything to help out here for them.
It's going to have to be an incredible play here from Lucid to try to trade a pick back. It's
I mean, when Kingen dies, there's no more backline threat onto Ashe, so, you know, Dplus really struggles.
4 versus 5. They have softened them up a little bit, but GenG, they are on the prowl. Dplus just looking for a way out.
Here comes the corralling.
They're hurting them. They're corralling them.
It's going to have to be an incredible play here from Lucid to try to trade a pick back. It's going to be so rough.
There is still a fair bit of CC here. Aiming doesn't have Featherstorm though. There's the Magnustorm. They get on top of Pace. He takes so much damage and Showmaker locks him down. Now Kellen's trying to keep them in position, but it's Keen with the perfect execution, and Showmaker.
Oh my God, Showmaker's still full HP.
Down Chovy, and now Showmaker and Lucid, they down. Now
trade a pick back. It's going to be.
I mean, they don't have Sedge ult or Ashe ult, though.
There is still a fair bit of CC here. Aiming doesn't have Featherstorm, though.
Lucid, though.
There's the Magnustorm. They get on top of Pace. He takes so much
nice job.
Locks him down. Now Kellen's trying to keep them in position, but it's Keen with the perfect execution, and Showmaker.
Lucid has been very good at team fighting.
And now Showmaker and Lucid, they are dangerous. So 2 versus 3, but their health bars are so large. That's about best case scenario.
I mean, he's just so tanky, Lucid is at this point. The only one who could really hurt him is the Akali because he built that Frozen Heart, which is so cheap on this patch. And he's just like, all right, I'm looking for the re-engage. We will break through this. And Showmaker is so big, so fed, that it's really easy for him to turn that one around. Now, it looked disastrous from the outset because they're spread too thin. Showmaker's trying to push the side lane, the 3-manning here after trying to take that global red away. Kingen pushes too deep here, and the turret does half the work.
Yeah, Kingen just got turret aggro.
Yeah, and, you know, they just didn't finish it off. He took too much damage, and then this is a great play from Lucid turning onto Canyon here. And at the same time, Kellen keeping Chovy.
It's a good counter engage after you see Kellen go in.
Can't actually come in here and heal. And look at the damage output from Showmaker. Yes, Keen is going to be the beneficiary of the bottom side of this fight. He's going to pick up that shutdown. But now you're isolated here as Chovy. And your Varus Ashe lane.
No, and Pei is still not really allowed to. Doesn't
yeah, it could have gone way worse for Dplus.
4 items before he's really going to be scary. There are a lot.
Have you seen Malignant's Karma mid? Oh my God, that's gonna be a nightmare.
He's not gonna be able to just walk at Pays with impunity forever, because soon he's gonna need a few extra items before he's going to be able to withstand that.
Yeah, even in Dplus's losses, Lucid has looked good.
Auto attacks as you like off, but if Pays is there to actually get poked down, then he will take some.
He's got some extra health with that Rod of Ages as well.
Oh, Glacial Prison somehow manages to connect onto Kane. Wow, wish he...
Well, Showmaker just reminding everyone this Hijack's level 16 with that ultimate, you know, and also reminding them of his accuracy, you know, just putting fear in their hearts. Not going to be impactful in this moment, but certainly just showing everyone how big he is at the moment. And 3 items on this Sylas. Obviously, his abilities all leveled up with the this is just going to be up for grabs here. Get to dictate the pace of this game. Now, if they don't do it quickly, if they struggle to close out this game, as we have seen with Dplus rosters throughout 20, that is kind of what you're banking.
Probably happy also to check the fights that they have been doing. Kellen and Lucid have just been engaging perfectly this game. I think Lucid certainly has been a standout performer, but I think a little shout out to Kellen.
Yeah,
had
100%.
a lot of struggles, especially towards the end of last year. Good to see him having some aggressive performances. So evening out the Dragons, we're a long way from an Elder. And Dplus can now set up around this Baron if they would like to. It is Bowling Alley Baron, quite a few extra little avenues of entry.
Keen pushed very far up here. This ward is going to give him the warning sign. Also has a control ward here to see if anyone's taking that angle. He will be able to get out.
Showmaker being 2 levels up on Chovy is pretty scary.
Picking up his Crypt Bloom, you know, he's got Sork Boots, so he's ready to get in there and do some serious damage even to Kingen. It's nice that he's given that much space. He can now try to go bottom side here, get some more of that farm. Buying time here is the goal ultimately for GenG. And, you know, finally we're getting close. Uh-oh.
Okay, well, aiming is going to have Chovy delivered to him. There's the all-out. Does manage to pick the right target as Lucid crashing down. Lehen's taking a lot of damage as well as Kingan's trying to return the favor. Let's check out what Chovy's doing as we jump back to that part of this particular play. And now Kingan, he's continuing to run. Look at these ghosty
Kingan's
boys
ghosted.
Pressing their summoner
No
spells,
ult.
trying to run as quickly as possible. Oh no, it's a wall. It's Olaf's worst enemy, but now there's a hole in it. He's able to get on over as Chovy's trying to mitigate this, and he does so beautifully.
Nice. Sejuani ult.
GenG are looking to turn it. Showmaker, though, he is still...
Oh, Chain of Corruption from Sylas.
And more chains come down as well. Aiming locks down that kill in the end. As the arrow connects onto Showmaker,
there's just not enough damage on GenG's side. It's like, it's actually so awkward because they can't deal damage during these extended team fights because they have this lethality like Poke Varus and Akali.
And it looked for a moment there with Paze's amazing ultimate coming through that maybe they could win the fight. But Showmaker is just this unpassable Sylas. They just cannot cross
It's crazy because now he has Zhonya's as well. He's never going to die.
To actually finish off those low health targets. So yes, Chovy does take him for a jaunt across the rift here. Kingen as well ends up having to pop his ultimate. And then the rest of GenG are like, all right, we're going to rotate over. You have Keen bottom lane as well, so he can come over here, cross his way in there, and eventually join this fight. But Chovy buys enough time. The problem is, again, watch Paze's ult when it comes through. It's fantastic. But how much...
Yep, Chain of Corruption here. Stops them, but they can still get over the wall. Anything's trying to lose this game.
That was the last one left available, and so now he is actually vulnerable. There's no Mikhails, no Cleanse, no Flash, no Featherstorm for the next few seconds.
Yeah, nothing to save him if he gets a little bit too far forward this next time. And, you know, with Chovy having ult here, GenG clear out this vision. Get some vision in there.
Chovy
rotating over.
All right, Kellen. Looking for Lehen's, does find him here with the grand entrance. Over goes Canyon though, and the Ragnarok has to be used defensively. Chovy has found aiming, or has the entirety of Dplus found Chovy. He goes all out, but he needs to just get out.
Man, they keep isolating Chovy.
Ragnarok has to be used defensively. Chovy has found
over.
All right, Kellen. Looking for Lehen's, does find him here with the grand entrance. Over goes Canyon.
I mean, Chovy's trying to keep aiming out of this fight, but the rest of his team is kind of bailing, and Showmaker's zoned him out, so really has nowhere to go right here.
Dplus found Chovy. He goes all out, but he needs to just get out. And the Ragnarok has to be used defensively. Chovy.
Thing is that his ult is down right now, so I think you got to try and ult somebody over this wall.
Dplus found Chovy. He goes all out, but he needs to just get out. And he's not going to be able to. Once again, Chovy with a little bit of an overextend.
Is done, but the speed at which this Baron can be taken with this Xayah.
Prison is thrown at Canyon. And Lucid, he comes back. They are able to secure it. He can't get far enough into the pit and does have to flash to get himself away. The health bars are low.
The lack of sustained damage in these team fights is really just nailing GenG.
Pick up any stragglers. But Kellen, he's not a straggler. He has way too much mobility. They are going to be able to get themselves out. Very successful here in Dplus. They are playing an immaculate game.
They really are
today.
And this is one of those rare times we actually talk about.
Arrow is going to connect here as Chains of Corruption come through as well as Showmaker says, thank you very much for that. I'll have one of those.
Chovy, kind of a bit of the back door, which allows you to escape because Chovy gets caught here trying to get onto the back line. And Akali just isn't in position to actually follow up. So Chovy, kind of a bit of a mistake here in terms of the angle he tried to take. I mean, there's a
he gets super isolated. He's not aware of the rest of the positioning of his team in that case.
Pit offers. No flashes were up. Maybe there's a few exit kills there for GenG. Conditions here has not happened.
Not quite. Does have acceptable to, you know, the bevy of not able to find the Chains of Corruption as Keen. He has been pretty good at this. And their base and this Red Bull really start making that money, as you can see. And Chovy, he's in the bottom lane, so he is not able to frontline for them. So that inhibitor that you were talking about is going to be secured here.
Trying to do some all positions so incredibly well, but bounty gold over this, but you know, 4 items.
More defensive edge of Night Choice, but decided to go instead with his job.
Okay, now we just have to wait for Soul / Baron spawn.
It's going to be for both kills that have to front leading to objectives as Chovy's trying to flank, and then he just gets focused down first.
Well, Kellen looking to try and escape from this one. Canyon not having any of that, but his prison has been stolen. Silas that throws out that ultimate, that secondary pop of damage. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, you steal a Shen ult and then there's a huge shield.
GenG, they will know pretty soon what's going to be happening here as the control ward does come in. So Kellen understands now. He knows that they know that he knows that they're there.
Indeed.
Oh my!
All right, so here we go.
They have choke points controlled.
Yep, and GenG understands that they can't let this Baron go over. They are sacrificing their base for this one, and Showmaker's looking for that backline. Pays! Oh my goodness, he stays alive! Showmaker has to go over the wall as now Keen is looking for
Great
it.
turn.
Chovy's in that front. Oh my goodness, he's melting. He's evaporating.
I like how Pace and Lehens just did 0 damage this entire game. They just did 0 damage. Every team fight zoned out. Backline collapsed on, whether it was Keen or Chovy.
The undertows coming down. I think that Kingen will let them live, but Showmaker may not, and Aiming definitely will not. That's an
all right, interesting game. That was actually really fun.
I mean, it was the first professional loss Chovy will take on.
How we got to Varus, Ashe, Akali into Olaf, Rel, and Silas? Well, they were picked early on in the draft, and R5 was Olaf. Very smart draft by Dplus. Very enjoyable.